Being a single mom and doing it all by yourself is brutal. Learn the brain and energy tools to get back to your center and overcome your challenges. As a human being, you can't really compartmentalize yourself. So when you're frustrated in one area of your life, it ripples in all the other areas. When you don't do something you love, when you hate going to work in the morning, it will ripple on your relationship with your kids. And if you have teenagers and you're already fighting, it's already so hard for you as a single mom. This is like adding oil to the fire, which is why today my episode is with someone who's going to help you see all the other possibilities that you may not have dared to dream about. Welcome to Single and Doing It All, the podcast to help single moms empower themselves. And I can't talk today. If you are new to me, my name is Muriel Felous. I'm also known as your French life coach, and I help single moms with stopping the arguments with their teenagers through my cut the crap method. And if you want to know more, you can put a message here or you can visit my website, Single and Doing It All. As you know, this podcast is recorded live on Facebook. So I have people who come and attend in the studio audience here on Facebook sometimes. And if you want to be one of them and you want to know when we are going live, all you have to do is to give me a notify me, and you will receive a message from my messenger bot, my virtual me, to send you a message, to put you on the list and send you a message every time I go live. Also, if you like what you hear, if you are new or regular, let us know with thumbs up, hearts, whatever you want to show us, however you want to show us your love. And last but not least, so many single moms that I know used to struggle isolated by themselves, feeling so lonely, but they don't have to. So if you know one woman who's like that, single, raising kids, struggling with it, share that podcast, share that Facebook page, share whatever you can share with them to help them end the isolation. Because really, we have a whole community to help you and support you of women exactly like you. And now, you know that I very often do Franglish. Today, you're going to have Franglish and Spanglish because my guest comes from Spain. His name is Carlos Adell, and he's a coach who helps people live their passion, and a business consultant. So good morning, Carlos, or this evening for you.
Good morning, Muriel. Thanks for having me here.
I'm really excited.
I'll try not to do too much of Spanglish, but sometimes, you can't help.
But, that's what makes the richness of all of us, because we're all different and we all bring something different to the table.
Yeah, absolutely. Everyone's unique. And I like my accent. That's what it is. What are you going to do?
Well, I like mine. So
yeah, you gotta be
I don't know. It's part of who I am. So, so you are a business consultant and you are a coach who helps people live their passion. But I suspect that it hasn't always been that way. So where did you start? What's your story? What motivated you to be where you are today?
Right. Well, I'm a personal and business coach, and I'm a certified coach, and it wasn't always like that. But I think I have to go a little bit back in times, and I'll make it short. But I need to go back to. I started my first business when I was 16, and I built a 6-figure business back in that time. That helped me understand a lot of things about business, and apart from the freedom of being my own boss and having the freedom to do whatever I wanted, doing something that I was enjoying. And I gave it all up when I decided to join corporate. And that was back when I was 24. So it was after 8 years. And I'm an engineer. I joined corporate and I was working as a sales director. And after 5 years in corporate, I was exhausted. I was overwhelmed. I couldn't handle it anymore.
Yeah.
So I decided to break up with everything, and I moved right back to the other side of the world, to Australia. At this time, I was 31, and I was in Australia, not speaking any language, not English.
Very courageous.
And because what I wanted to do was to reinvent myself, so become someone who was going to make me happy, because I wasn't happy with the person that I was. And then that's when I started getting into coaching, and I started helping entrepreneurs to go online, to make, to turn the passions into profits. But in a way, like, I was kind of getting started. That was 2014. And then I realized that everything that I was achieving, it was easy for me. So I'm like, why people are struggling to do things that for me are come like a second nature? And then I realized that I started getting in touch with coaching, and I realized that coaching was teaching, showing people everything that I was doing by nature. And it was kind of a link, it was kind of, okay, now I got a method to show people how to move into this mindset, right? Which it will allow you to do anything you want. Yeah. And then in 2016, I decided that I wanted to be back to Spain, to be closer to my family, and then I got back to Spain. But my mindset wasn't in the right place, so I went back to the corporate world. But now I knew what I wanted. So I knew what I needed to do to get off corporate and start running my own business again. Yeah. And when I finally got it, and when I finally made this a reality, and I started living out of my passions again, I thought that it was about time to start showing people how to live out of their passions again. And this is what motivated me.
That's a beautiful story, because there were so many stages, and it really reinforced one of my beliefs, is that although you get certified to be a coach because it's better, we are born coaches.
Yeah.
And it's in us.
Yeah.
And I see for myself that I used to coach people even in high school without knowing that I was coaching them.
Yeah.
And even when I was tutoring in French, I could see the grades were going up in all other subjects. And I was like, what? How? But in fact, it's because what we bring to people is way more than what that tiny subject that we talk about.
Yeah.
Now you coach people online only, or do you coach them also face-to-face?
No, well, I do one-on-one coaching at the moment. I'm planning on doing some group coaching as well. But the way I designed my business, I love traveling. I've been in 20 different cities in the last 10 years. And this is unsustainable. I can't really run a business that's offline. So I decided to build it in a way that I can run it from anywhere. So I love connecting one-on-one with people. In the offline world, but I'm doing everything offline. So I'm doing it now from Spain, but maybe next week I'm in Australia. I don't know.
That's cool. That's a very cool way of life, and that's something that people can do also when they go into their own business.
Yeah.
My audience is a lot of single moms who are extremely busy, sometimes very often overwhelmed. And most of the time, they don't even see a way out. So even though some of them, I know one of them dreams about being a photographer full time, she doesn't even see how it could be possible for her because she's a single mom and she has a full-time job. Do you have clients like that started in some similar situations?
Yeah, absolutely.
And when you are in that position, what would be like the first thing that they should do to open a crack to possibilities and really giving themselves permission to dream?
Yeah, that's a really good question, and this is something that I've been thinking a lot lately, because when you're running your own business, one of the steps of the process is to handle objections, right?
Yeah.
So when you're enrolling a client to your training, and when it comes to time to handling objections, you realize that the objections are excuses that we make because we don't have enough reasons to move forward, right?
Yes.
So this is what drives us. The first thing that you need to find, and that's the first thing I did actually, it is to find, I found a compelling reason for me to do whatever it took to move forward. That means that if you think, oh, you have to wake up 1 hour earlier, you have to sacrifice 1 hour sleep every day, because if you want to achieve that, you need to make some time, because if you haven't a reason enough to do it, you will find a way. So the first thing is to see, okay, why am I going to do that? Why do I want to do that? And find the reason. And if you don't find one, keep searching, because there's going to be something that will make you just, it'll make you click. And it's like, okay. And it's usually an emotional reason. My reason was, in my case, and look, it might sound like too back, but the thing is that if you don't have a reason big enough, you'll end up finding excuses, not finding the time, not finding the money, not finding the way. So I think this is very important. And look, my reason was I didn't want to get old and be like my parents, that they're amazing people, but they've been working their entire lives, and now they've got a little pension that they get from the government, and they are right because they saved money during their years, but they're not living the life I would like to give them. So I thought, I don't want to be like that. I just want a different life when I grow older. So I need to run my business and build my own empire, my own thing, so I can live out of something that I love. And this was so painful for me to think that not doing what I needed to do was going to lead me to pain afterwards, that I did whatever it took.
So you use, because that's what I did too. I remember when my father turned about 50, he was so dissatisfied with his life. He was making good money, but he did not like his life. And I remember I was about 16, and it shocked me. I still have this specific moment in my mind where he voiced it to me. He said that he didn't like what he was doing. And I use that memory over and over and over to propel me, because I'm a single mom. It's not easy. I have a business. I still have a full-time job. So I'm developing my business. And like you said, sometimes I don't feel like getting up early. Sometimes I don't feel like working on the weekend. Sometimes I don't feel like, actually, when I coach, I don't mind getting up, even if I have to get up at 4:00 in the morning because somebody lives somewhere else. But when it's all the other stuff that needs to be done, in the business, it's another story. And I use that fear because I know that the brain, and I know you're familiar with Tony Robbins because you studied in one of his programs or something I saw on your website. That he explains that the brain does way more to avoid pain than to go towards pleasure. So it's almost like milking that pain and that uncomfortable feeling in your advantage. And that's what you did too.
Yeah. I mean, your brain, that's the nature of your brain, right? When we were on survival mode, like millions of years ago, the first priority of your brain, of your human species, is to get off pain and find some pleasure. Find some pleasure is something that comes second. So if you got on a big enough reason of something that you're moving away, something that scares you, use it on your advantage, because it's energy and you have to use it.
Yeah, it's a question of perception, as usual. You can see it as, my life is horrible, I have to do all that, or you can say, okay, I promise you, every time I was uncomfortable in a job and I didn't like the corporate milieu like you, I some stuff that they do is totally illogical. When you know how your brain works, that drives me nuts. I said, thank you. Thank you for making me uncomfortable where I am, because it forces me to go for more. Because it's very easy to settle in the comfortable. That can be a trap.
Yeah.
And so when you talk about going for a business, if someone doesn't have any idea, they know what they want to do, but they don't know where to start. To take the example of my client who wants to do photography. She knows she can do beautiful photos. And I'm not a business coach, but I'm her life coach. And I told her to go and seek education, to really be excellent at what she does. Is that the first thing you suggest to your clients too, or is there something else before that?
What I suggest is, because look, I said that I'm a certified business coach, but I started working way before I was certified. The only reason I got my certification, it was because I needed the knowledge.
Me
And
too.
I mean, because I want to learn, right? The thing is that we all are experts. We all know a lot of things about something. There is something that I know better than anyone. There is something that you know better than anyone. So you can basically, I mean, what I say is look, what you need to find is a problem that you can solve. And if you can solve someone's problems in a very effective and powerful way, you have a business. Then it is important that you like and your business is sustainable. So maybe she does photography and she's really good at taking photos of kids. Then who wants photos of kids? Let's see. Is there a niche? Is there a market for it? So so there's two things. One thing, it needs to be sustainable, because if you don't love doing it, you won't be doing it for long. And the second thing is that something that you love doing? Can this be of help for someone? Can this be something that someone would pay to know how to do it? Because then you can go and show them how to do pictures, photos of kids, or you can go and take photos of the kids. So this is the first step that I would suggest. Find first if it's something you can do sustainably in time, and the second thing is that going to solve a problem for someone? Then you got a business.
That's great. And that also, what came to me as you were talking about that was like, because for me, I need facts and I need to know that it's possible. I have both sides. I'm a dreamer. I work with energy. I'm a Reiki master. So I'm in the world of energy too, but I have a very rational side where I want to see that it's possible.
Yeah.
So when you go and do what you just explained, you can prove to yourself that it is possible, because as you look for people who would need your expertise, you can also see who provides this kind of services and see that they are having a business. And so if they can, you can too.
Yeah. And you say a very important point here. I mean, I'm an engineer, right? So I'm very emotional. I'm very into these coaching things and energy and stuff, but I'm an engineer. So there's this part of my mind that it needs to understand that how and why things work. So one of the things that I did is like, okay, I want to run this kind of business. Who's running this kind of business? This, then, okay. I'm going to join every network I can. I'm going to read every book that I can, so I can see that it's possible. And then you see that that's been done before. There's people doing it. Okay, now I know what I need to do, and I know that it works. So you get the certainty. This is another thing. You need to be certain that you can make it. You need to be certain you're going to make it, because then you will make it.
Yes. And actually, I think we're going to make a break. I never remember. That's my French thing. We're going to make a break. And because I know that some people don't really do Facebook and they wait for the audio version of that podcast. And I told them that they could email me questions. So I just want to, because I saw that an email pop up and I have a question. So, you know what? There is no question here on Facebook. So we're going to continue with the audio version. Whoops, Carlos just disappeared. We lost him, but he will come back, I'm sure. And I'm going to continue talking about what we just, and he's back, what we just approached really quickly. You're back. Yay. You wanted to create more suspense.
I don't know if it's you, if it's me, but it's like the internet is not working properly.
Sometimes the internet, we can't know. That's why, in a way, I love doing those lives. because it trains you into adaptation to anything that can happen. And that's really good in business. That's a good training.
That's true. That's very true.
So to go back to the question that I received, she said that she has dreams, but when she talks about her dreams with her family and the people who surround her, she feels disappointed and desperate because they always crush her ideas.
Yeah.
How do you approach that?
Look, this is a very big one, okay? And it is a very big one because for me, I'm a person that I do whatever they want. I do whatever the bleach I want, but I love my parents, okay? I love my family, and somehow I like having their okay, you know, their support.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes I do things that they don't understand because, you know, we are from different eras. But the first thing that I do is the people that you really care about, the people that you really think that they need to know and you want them to support you, what I would do is sit down and say, look, this is who I am. That's what I do. That's what I'm going to do now. Let me know if you understand, because I would really love having your support. Because to me, it's very important that, you know, I don't need it because this is my life. Yeah. This is what I'm going to do because this is my dream and I want to live it. But I would love having your support.
Yes.
Because you're very important persons to me. And the times that I did that, the answer that I had from them, it's been like overwhelming. It's been like, son, look, we love you. We want you to be happy. Just go and do your thing because we trust you. We believe in you and you'll do whatever you want. This is the first thing I would do, right? If it doesn't work, I'll do it anyway. And I think that I'm only going to be living to be here once. And I've been next to die like 3 times in my life that I can remember. So I've been close to death like more than once, more than twice. So that means that we're talking here now, right? But maybe something happens tomorrow. I'm not here anymore.
Yes.
Look, I'm going to put my focus, my energy, and on things that are going to make me happy. If you want to support me, awesome, because I like you, I love you, and I want you to support me. But if you're not going to do it, please let me go. Don't get on the way because this is my life and it's what I want to live.
Yeah.
The second choice is always the hardest one, but look, try to make them understand. You know, this is the first thing because you want to be loved. You want them to support you, and I'm sure that if they love you, they will understand and support you. That's my answer to your client.
Yeah, they may not understand the exact process or the way you're doing it, but that's true that if they love you, they want you to be happy. I know in my case, for example, my parents, they want me to be happy, but they didn't always understand the process. Like I was saying, like when you start a business, it's not going to be, I'm starting Monday and I'm going to be successful on Wednesday. There is a time that you have to invest. You have to invest money. You have to invest your time. And sometimes people are more impatient than you. And I know I'm a pretty impatient person. But like you, I'm very stubborn on what's important to me. And I won't let anyone on earth destroy that or be in my way because that's what I want and that's what I will do. But when you hear over and over messages
I'm dropping you a little bit now, Muriel.
Yeah, I see that you are frozen. So I'm going to continue on what I was saying because I know you're going to come back. So when you know what you want and the people around you aren't always supportive because they don't understand the process, it's important for you also, although we need the approval and we want to be loved, to be able to separate their love from the fact that you need the approval for what you're doing. Because I know that personally, it cost me a lot of pain because some members of my family would not understand what I was creating. And I took it as a lack of love. I took it, my perception was if you love me, you would understand, you would support me, you wouldn't be as critical or as doubtful. I had to really high back, Carlos. I continued talking, telling that separating the fact that you feel loved by the people that you love and your need from approval is crucial, because if you create, if you perceive their lack of support for your business or their non-understanding as a lack of love for you, you're going to suffer. That's what happened to me.
Yeah.
When I was able to understand that their lack of understanding and support for my business didn't mean anything about the love they had for me, I was back to myself again. The pain was gone, and it wasn't stopping me or delaying me in any way.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a very smart way to handle it, because
sometimes they don't really. I know, me being French, the French mentality toward business and the American mentality toward business is completely different.
Right.
So that alone, it's you have to change the way you think, because otherwise you're going to be stopped.
Yeah, that's very true. I mean, look, you need to find a way. I mean, I always say this, right? Like life is 10% what happens to us, and 90% what we think it's happening to us. So if we understand that not having the support, it means they don't love us, then you'll suffer. But if you can understand that this is just something they cannot really understand, and they love you anyway, but they don't really understand what you're doing, then look, you at the end of the day, you tell yourself the story you need to hear to make yourself happy.
Yes. And you may even create a vision of the day that you're going to come back to them with something so successful that they won't have a choice but believe in what you're doing. I know that helps me. I have several mantras that when business is slow, or when something, because things don't always turn out the way we want to. There is a sentence that says you make plans and God laughs, or something like that. I've seen that in my business. And to me, it's important to have something you can come back to in times of doubts, in times of disappointment. And I have a mantra for myself that even when I don't see it, things work for me behind the scene. And that helps me stay motivated. Do you have ideas or mantras or beliefs that you go back in times of doubts and trouble?
Yeah, that's look, what I do, I have my morning ritual, and this is a morning ritual, and it happens like that every day. I wake up at 5. The first thing, the first thing I do is to exercise and sweat, because that reduces the level of cortisol. Cortisol is the hormone of the stress, right?
Yes.
And that's the first thing you do. The second thing you do is to journal. You journal, you put your ideas into paper, everything you need to do today, so you get clear on that. You take this weight out of your back. And the third thing is to read something that's gonna increase my levels of knowledge and understanding of life, and something that's not a novel. Just I read stuff that it's really adding value to my knowledge. And then the last thing I do, answering your question, is something called priming. And priming it is an exercise that I use it to put myself into a state of gratitude, a state of excitement, and a physical state of being on top of the world, or being on my A game. And that sets my day from the beginning, and I keep on going all day. And if in the middle of the day I got a moment where I can feel that my energy goes down, I stop for a second, I do my incantations, I just put myself in a state again, and try to, because at the end of the day, it's you in control of your brain, of your thoughts and your emotions. And some people don't know this, and they just...
That's the only control we have, really.
Yeah. But it's a lot, because people can suffer from if they don't have this control, and they can be extremely happy when they have it. So yeah.
And it's true. So like you, I constantly feed my mind with growth and inspiring stuff, and reading the bio of successful people, or buying their material and training myself. And because what we accept into our mind will determine the results in our life. So you can sit in front, and I also do stupid series on Netflix. Don't get me wrong. Sometimes I need to decompress
Yeah.
for 2-3 hours. I binge on a stupid series, but this is the time that I allocated to that. It's not taking over other stuff. And
Yeah.
that morning routine, I hear it. So I'm trying to implement that in my life. I've been doing that for years, but sometimes I fall off and I have to go back on, and I fall off, and because I suffer from chronic pain in my back. So if I'm tired, I don't always get up as early as I should.
Mm.
And actually, I think you saying that is the message from the universe. Muriel, go back.
Look, can I recommend you a book?
Yes.
It is called The 5 a.m. Club. And
Oh.
it is from Robin Sharma, and it is an amazing book, which is written in a it's like a story, but it talks about the benefits and how to do the morning rituals, and what you can expect out of doing these kind of things in the morning. And it's a beautiful book.
I'm gonna actually put it here on the screen. The 5 a.m. Club.
Yeah, Robin Sharma.
I'm sure if people Google that title, they will find it,
Absolutely.
because it's the foundation, I believe, of success. Every successful person that I come across or that I read about has this morning routine.
Yeah.
All of them. And I know for me, on a spiritual level, it's even more important, because I connect with the field, the universe, God, whatever you want to call it. And I am inspired to the right action. I'm at the right place at the right time. So it's not only you're going to be happier, but you're going to be more effective in your business if you do
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Look, entrepreneurs, it's what we do, right? If
Yes,
you're not healthy, there's no business anymore.
that's true. And sorry. So for our single moms, maybe they can't get up an hour earlier to start with, but they can get up like 5 minutes earlier, and they can even deep breathing for 5 minutes, letting go of everything else, would already oxygenate your brain and bring you ideas.
Yeah.
Yeah, morning routine. So that's your number one go-to. And during the day, you said when you feel your energy down, what do you do?
Yeah, so for example, when I have to jump on a call with a client, maybe sometimes you feel your energy is low. So what I do is I wake up, try to stretch myself, put yourself in an open position. I've got this chair which it allows me to
Oh, yeah.
you put in an open position, you breathe deeply. I've got like some things that trigger me, like you bring up my energy. So, like you get on a state, and there's many ways that anyone can do it. So everyone can find a way.
Yes.
Doing incantations, and incantation is just like kind of affirmations, repeating to yourself a message that you start believing it, you start feeling it, and then I've got like two different persons running the show here, right? So, and one person is Little City Carlos, which is the name that I give the scared me, the afraid me, the one that's like, oh no, just stay in bed for a little longer. And then we've got El Puto Amo, which is something like the fucking boss in English, and it is, we all have this, right?
Yes,
we all have this part of us that it's scared and it's fearful, and then this part of us that we can't do anything, and we believe that you're certain that you'll achieve anything. So this is the part of you that you want to run the show most of the time. Sometimes it's okay to surrender and accept Little City Carlos and just indulge yourself, but you want like the best version of yourself.
Yes.
In command, right? Because
Of course.
he or she will make the right decisions. He or she will take it to the right direction. So
yes, feeding the right side instead of the other one, and having compassion for the other side, because most of the time it comes from fear and from our brain not having the right parameters to keep us safe.
Yeah.
It's misleading. Now we're going to come to my two favorite questions that I ask everyone, because to me, this is a pillar of my coaching. And we're talking about self-love. But when I talk about self-love with my clients, with my students, and I tell them you need to practice more self-love, they don't even know where to start. They don't even have their own definition of self-love. And I know it can vary because we're all different. So I love having my guests giving their definition so it can give ideas to my audience. What's your definition of self-love?
Well, my definition of self-love, I don't have one, but I will tell you what I do. I mean, I exercise every day, and this is not negotiable. This is no exception. I need to exercise every day because my body is what it holds, my soul is what it holds, my energy. That needs to be healthy. I try to eat as healthy as I can.
Yes.
Now I've got my parents around these days, and with mom here, there's no way.
I know what you mean.
I'm having to follow a diet, right? But this is one of the things. Then another thing that I've been doing lately, and it's very importantly, well, there's two things, right? I get out of my life anyone who is bringing an energy that I don't like.
That's crucial.
I don't care. I mean, if it's a person, if it's a friend, if it's an energy that I don't want it in my life, I get rid of it.
Yes.
Because I'm not handling this. I'm not self-love. I'm selfish. I'm selfish. I don't want it. If someone's complaining all day, they can go away, complain somewhere else.
And selfish has a bad rap, but there is a way to practice selfish in a healthy way. And that's that.
Yeah.
I mean, letting go of what is bringing your energy down, letting go of what is really not resonating with the highest version of you. It's a smart thing to do.
Yeah.
And so you answered my second question, because my second question was like, how do you practice it in your life? So your answer covered both. That's great.
Well, there's one more thing that you can do if you love yourself, and is go to your living room, grab the TV, chuck it in the rubbish bin.
So I'm gonna disagree with you on that. It depends because
okay. I'll hang on. Yeah. I mean, look, if Netflix and all this stuff. I mean, as long as you control what you watch,
yes,
that's okay. But look, you turn on the TV and there's all the news and all the misery and all these things and they just manipulate you in a way that they force feed you with all this drama that. Yeah. I mean, I ask myself, okay, can I do something to fix it? No. Okay, do I need to know about politicians? Do I need to know about these corruption things? I'm a politic. I'm a politician. No. Why do I need to know this stuff? Wish it away. Right? I mean,
yes. And I'm very careful what I watch. And to tell you the truth, I rewatched a series that I used to watch several years ago. And I'm getting irritated because I've grown so much, and I don't have patience like you for people who are complainers, for people who are passive aggressive, for all that shenanigans that people. I could see the series and I was like, why does she accept that? Why? No, that gets me mad. I don't want to watch that anymore. And sometimes it gives me idea. First of all, it gives me a way to measure my growth. Because where it didn't disturb me, let's say 10 years ago, now I can't even watch because that gets on my nerves. Life is precious. You shouldn't accept that in your life. Mm-hmm. And I understand that there are parameters that make us accept certain stuff, but I don't have to feed my mind with that. But on another side, it gives me ideas for shows because I see the dysfunctional stuff. I'm like, oh, I need to do a podcast on that. It still feeds my mind in a way that is constructive.
Absolutely. That's fantastic. I mean, in my case, what I'm a really, really strict with some stuff, and I stopped watching TV in 2012, and I never watched it again. And I did watch a lot of series, not anymore, but I love series and love Netflix. Now I just prefer reading a book or doing something else, but this is just my choice. That doesn't mean anything because series are good fun. And sometimes you get ideas, you get inspired, you see things, your brain disconnects, and this is healthy.
True.
Right?
Yeah, this is. As long as you have control over what you're doing and you know why you're doing it. Because to me, staying, let's say, watch several episodes of something I like or watch a movie that I like is self-love. Because I relax, it's a whole ceremony. You know, I'm doing it like maybe the French way. I have a little bit of food that looks great. That's my moment.
Yeah.
So to me, it has a purpose. But I agree with you. Oh, we have an echo. I agree with you that doing it mindlessly and letting yourself be fed with stuff that don't serve you is a very bad idea. Now, if people want to connect with you or to find out more about you, and I will put it in the description of the episode as well, where do they go?
Well, they can go to my Facebook profile. That would be the safest. Or they can go to my website, which is carlosadellconsulting.com.
Okay, so your name is on the screen, so they know how to spell it, and they just add consulting.com, and your Facebook page is your name, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
That's
go ahead.
That's the best way they can reach out.
Before we close, is there one thing you want to leave the audience with, or something you want to tell them not to forget?
Yeah. Life, I mean, we haven't come that far, right? So life is an amazing journey, only if you believe it is an amazing journey, and if you make it an amazing journey. So anything you want to achieve in life, just be certain that you can find a way, stop excuses, and if you stop telling yourself things not to go forward, you will find a way to make your dreams come true.
Yes, so true. Thank you, Carlos, for being our guest today. I loved our discussion. That was very enlightening, and that was fun too.
Thanks. Likewise.
And for our audience, I'm sure based on what we talked about today, you know that you going for your dream is just starting here in your mind. And that's something you can have control over, even maybe not 100% of the time, but the more you practice it, the more that percentage is going to increase. And you will catch yourself, like we were talking about stuff that hold you back. You will catch yourself in the moment and say, oh no, that's not how I want to think. So you dump, you let go of that thought, you pick another one. It's as simple as that sometimes. So I hope it helped. If you have comments, you can still put them here on replay. Carlos, I will tag Carlos so he can reply if you have any questions for him. Questions for me, I always come back. And if you want to know, I'm letting you know again that if you want to know when we're live, all you have to do is to give me a notify me here in the comments. And you will be added to the list of the people who receive my insider message 5 minutes before I go live.
All right.
I wish you a wonderful week, and I'll see you next time with another guest or maybe alone and another episode. Bye. Mwah. Go and love yourself.